All right, guys. Hey, we're back. This is the second part of the tour. We're right back to where we were. Like I said I'd be right back after the other one. We'll try to do another 30-minute video here and just split it up in that segment so it's easier to watch, easier to upload for parts. So we're right back in the tour. I was kind of just explaining, the capsule machines last, the random electronics stores, all that stuff. So watch part one if you didn't. This is part two. Just a reminder on that. Just check my video to make sure everything's going well. Looks fine to me. Okay, so we'll jump right back in the tour here. One of the buildings this is another recommended, suggested building. If you're not into this stuff and you're uncomfortable with it, you don't need to do it. It's absolutely fine. But if you look to your right here, there's a building called M's Tower, and M's Tower is an adult store. It is a sex shop. I will say that straight out. This character on the side here looks awfully like. Oh, that was my phone. I apologize. This character on the side here looks awfully like Michiru from Grisaya. And it was very creepy when I saw it. And this is before I even joined Phone Novel. And I was like, okay, that's kind of creepy. But the big thing here is this is an adult shop. And it's not a typical adult shop so much as it is an anime cosplay adult shop. If you are big into anime type fetish in the world of 2D, this is the place you want to go for those fetishes. There is another adult shop I'll show called Love Merci, which is a little bit later. That is also an adult shop, but it's not focused on the animated fetishes. So, for example, in here you can actually find, everything from you can see in the window here there are the maid uniforms, cosplay outfits if you're into that. There's some S&M stuff up on a couple floors, and I checked this building out because I wanted to. I think this is a deal. There's dildos. There's everything you can find in here, and if you guys are uncomfortable with that, you know you're uncomfortable with it. But some people, maybe if they're looking for specific stuff, you can find it here. It's a really good shop for that kind of stuff, but I'm not into that, so it's not really awkward for me to talk about, but it is something maybe if you're interested in checking it out and you want to see kind of what's in here. Like I said, this is the animated type style shop, so it's your call, your choice. You can take a little picture with your face in here, these characters with big boobs. It's whatever you want to do. All right, nothing. This is, like I said, this is the recommended. Well, I don't recommend it, but this is the suggested area you should visit, not one of the you need to visit here areas. So you can put that down in your paper I told you to get at the start. One other thing I want to note is, as you see this, there is a maid standing in the corner here on the street. These maids advertise their maid cafes, and I will show you the maid cafe I went to. I recommend checking out one maid cafe. Here's my opinion on it. Bring 50 bucks, go to a maid cafe, do it once, and only do it once. That is my suggestion. If you are fans of strip clubs, if you are, fans of whatever, it may be, I, try it out. It's interesting to try out. When you go there, you pay like 30 bucks to get in, and it's like 20 bucks every hour after that. And then the food is really expensive. Like the omelet with a little ketchup kitty face is like, 10, 15 bucks. It's not cheap. And that doesn't include a drink. Drinks are expensive. But basically, when I went there, it was kind of cool because there was a couple from Australia, and then me and my friend, and then two Japanese maids who were waiting on us, and we taught. They knew a little bit of Japanese. I didn't really know that much. My friend knew some Japanese, and we spoke English, and they talked about Australia, and it was really cool. It was a really fun experience for me. It might be different for you. Obviously, if you don't speak the language, but it's a friendly environment. It's cool. It's exactly how you picture it being. It's very stereotypical of what a maid cafe is supposed to be. And basically, they bring out these awesome sundaes actually, and they're like there was little Necco wafers, and they were like shaped like a bear with like gummy bears, and it was delicious. But it was like $7, so it's not cheap for the sundae. But I recommend bring like a $50 50 or 5,000 yen. Sorry, 50 bucks. Go here, try it out. It's cool. But like I said, it's expensive. Try it once, say you did it, and be done. That's my opinion. Maybe you love it to death and you want to do it. So there are maids at all the corners of Akihabara, and you'll see them kind of as we're going along in these pictures. They are always trying to get you to go to their maid cafes. So you just politely turn them down. Very simple, nothing too difficult. So that's kind of this corner. I just wanted to point that out. We're going to actually head back up this street here and kind of get to get to some of the more interesting stuff, if you like that. And obviously, I'm not checking out every single building here because these are kind of just, I want to leave some free roam for yourself because I'm not, gonna hold your hand in every single building. It's a little bit ridiculous. But anyways, what we'll do is we'll start heading down the street with the Atre 1 to our right here. And we'll turn to our left and look at this Lobby Akihabara building. And the Lobby Akihabara building, which is right next to the Sega area, is not so much a Best Buy, but it's like a small version of Best Buy. It's an electronics store. If you see on the first floor, they have Apple products, so they have some MacBook stuff, things like that. Third floor, it's just all random electronics. Things you can find like phone cases. If you look in here, you see the iPads being advertised right there. You see, I don't even know what that says. MacBook Pro is being advertised at this time. One thing I want to point out in this building is kind of a little sidetrack is most buildings in Akihabara function like this. To the right, as you can see over here, are your escalators and elevators, and usually to the lefts of the buildings are stairs if there are any. This is not true for every building, but generally I've noticed as you enter the buildings from the strip, which we're coming up to at the end over here, you will notice that you kind of just, you enter. And that's kind of how it's formatted, and I'll point that out and show you why that is. Um, I've kind of lost my thought there. So there's usually always a floor guide for each building. I can't read any of this Japanese. If some of you can see what's kind of on it. But it's just an electronics store. Check it out. I recommend viewing it. It's just cool to see how they lay things out and their advertising and how they do everything. That's what I kind of liked about Akihabara as well. Continuing down the street here, we'll get a little further up. To our left was a building that was being constructed. Now, this is back in June 2013. I was there in November 2013. And it was tall, but it was still being constructed. I haven't been back there since. I don't know what this currently is now. I don't know what the building is. So I don't know what this is. If you go there, check it out. See Devil Survivor, the anime or the animation. Devil Survivor 2, the animation was being advertised. I think Mikaku City Actors was being advertised for a while here as well. And then there was also Persona 4. Here's a poster of a KB48. Obviously, there's not 48 girls here, but this is just some of the pop group. Again, I really don't know too much about them. So, yeah, it's really your call on that. Now we'll move up to some of the big buildings. And this is where we'll start paying attention a little more if you haven't been. First building on the right here, this is one you want to check out. Put this on your need list. This is Card Kingdom. Now, if you are familiar with the Weisschwarz trading card game and the Chaos trading game, card game, you get some in VNs where you get like little Busters cards, or you get like, in Ingrisai no Raku, and there is a card for Yuji, which is from, I think, Chaos as well. The Weisschwarz was in the Little Busters Ecstasy. They give you little collectible cards if you're familiar with them. This area is not only an internet cafe, as you can see on the second floor, but is also, at least I believe it's an internet cafe. I really don't know. Some of you might be able to read this Japanese as I'm looking at this, but I think it was an internet cafe. I remember there was one in Akihabara, and I'm pretty sure this was it, is what somebody told me. I could be wrong though. But this has a lot of card stuff in it, and it's really sweet. If you're really into the card collecting, this is an area you want to check out. As you can see, like I said, stairs on the left side of the building. So obviously no escalators or elevators in this one, but you can see all the stairs on the left side. Really cool. I recommend checking it out. That's really all I can say about it. Put it on your need list if you like the card stuff and you're big on that. You're otaku of card collecting and you like living card games and trading card games. This is a place to check out. To the right here is Gamers Akihabara. Now, Gamers Akihabara, surprisingly enough, I'm not going to put this on your need list. This is a great place to meet people because it's very iconic. Up here at the top, you see the green hair girl, and I have pictures of this actually where it says Welcome to Akihabara. It says Gamers. Oh, look, Attack on Titan's being advertised. Obviously, you could tell this photo was a little old, and other things that are like been released for a while. Gamer Akihabara, as you can see, there's the elevators and escalators on the right side of the building over here. But generally speaking, this is kind of like it's a video game, random hobby / everything. It's like a mini version of Softmap, which I will explain in detail Softmap when we get there, which is probably one of the more important stores for the members of the Fu Novel community if you're watching this video. But if more people watch this video, check this store out. It's cool. You go up the right side here, you go up the left side here. Each store is different. Each floor is different. They have a lot of cool stuff. I'll show you an image of it a little bit later, but as you can see, like Madoka's being advertised in here. You have some magazines and manga stuff on the shelves in there. You got some capsule machines out here. You got figures. It's kind of a hobby shop, but it's not anything special that you can't find in the main areas I'm telling you to go. I will give you a need to go here store for every single type of hobby you're into, unless it's some weird hobby that I'm completely unfamiliar with, but I will give you that. So that's something to keep in mind. So as we go, we'll kind of continue. So check that out. The building to the left here, random electronics store. Nothing else needs to be said there. Behind us, you have a pachinko parlor, which I'll kind of explain how better pachinko is. There's a bigger one that I can like to show. And to the right of this, write this down, need to go here. This is a building you need to check out. This is Yellow Submarine. I'm going to go right onto the main street here, which is the strip, Chuodori, and we're going to look at it from the front. And as you can see out the side here, as it loads the image, Yellow Submarine. This is a store at this corner that you will want to check out. One of the first ones you check out. Right in front, there's always videos playing for things, for anime that is being released. I can't tell which anime that is currently or what that's supposed to be, but it tells you when it's on sale. It advertises things. Really cool. I definitely recommend checking out this building. Write this down in your neat sheet. I'll repeat it again. Write this building down in your neat sheet. Let's go through the floors and I'll explain how it all works. First floor has a lot of different figures, but they're not necessarily like boxed figures. In all these little glass cases, you can kind of see right here as I zoom in, I'll move that out of the way for you. Each one of those glass cases houses actual models of the figures, and each little glass case has like a small subsection in each one of these figures. So you walk up to a case, you'll see, oh my gosh, look at this little subsection of Dragon Ball Z characters. Some of them are huge, some of them are tiny little Nenoroids, some of them are, really detailed. Cool. You move on to the next thing. Oh, look at all these One Piece figures. You move on to the next thing. Oh, look at all these Madoka figures mixed with Dragon Ball Z figures. You go to a back wall. Oh, look at all these Men in Black figures. Alien versus Predator figures. Look at this giant life-size Tomoe Mami from Madoka, which costs 250 yen, or 250,000 yen, which is like, 250 bucks. Like, holy cow. I'm sorry, not 25, sorry, 25,000. I can't add 25,000 yen. 250 yen would be a lot more. 50,000 yen. But, you get the idea. It's it's incredible. Like there's a lot of different figures I recommend checking out. I think they're purchasable because they do have price tags on them, but I don't know how that all works. So I didn't really look into that. But it is cool to just look at them, take some photos. Really awesome. As you head up to the second floor, right in front, and I'll show you a picture of this, there's a couple robot models as well, just like down below. So you've seen things from like Neon Genesis Evangelion. Gurren Lagann is in there. A lot of different little robots from, I don't know every anime. I'm not an anime whiz. I don't know everything. In addition, on the second floor, there's also trading cards again. There's a couple like glass cases and displays of the trading cards, holographic versions of them, signed versions. There was a Little Buster's Komari card, I think, in there that I saw that was signed by the voice actor of Komari that does it for both the VN and the anime. And it was a real signature. It wasn't like a copy signature. It was signed with like a gold pen or gold marker or something, and it was signed on the card. Really cool. So I mean, you can find some stuff in there, and you can buy some stuff again if you're into the card stuff. As we continue up to the third floor is interesting because the third floor I like to recommend. This is my little point I like to recommend. Let me just quick check the time on my video here. I want to make sure I'm not getting behind. Okay, 12 minutes. The third floor has what I like, phone straps and little keychains, and these are great souvenirs. They're usually about 350 to 450 yen, so about $3 to $4, a little more give or take depending on the quality. There's a couple figures and random things up here as well, but not like you think. They're just like really small amount of figures. Keep in mind, every store I point out, I'm just pointing out the main things on each floor. There's also a random assortment of stuff as well. This isn't everything on the floor, but the main thing here is there's some keychains. You can get, little phone straps, the rubbery ones if you're into that. There's little, plastic ones. There's little actual like metal ones. A lot of different options here. You can find I found little Angel Beats ones, just to give some examples. I found, the Madoka ones again. I found Little Busters ones. All over the board of just like anime and just some VNs that are adapted in anime and all this different stuff. Really cool. Great gifts. If you want to get a phone strap, I recommend it. As we move up to the fourth floor is video games. I mean, as you can see, it says it along the, gaming. It's just games. A lot of different video games, Xbox, PS3, things like that. So if you want to check that out, but you find those everywhere. And I'll point out some. You can go to SoftMap for that. It's all the same. It's just like any price of where you buy a video game. It's nothing unique and different here. But you'll find they're really big on the PlayStation. So you see a lot of PlayStation stuff, PS Vita, a lot of JRPGs, a lot of that kind of stuff. So it's really cool if you like that sort of thing. In addition, as we go up to the fifth floor, it's the Gundam shop. If you're really big on models and you like Gundam models and robot models, this is the place to go. The fifth floor in Yellow Submarine. The fifth floor has, like a little station area. I don't think this one has a station area. There's another one that I'll point out a little later that has it. Actually, very shortly here. Where you can see them painting it and they assemble it, and it's really cool. If you are familiar with Warhammer from the company Games Workshop, it's kind of like that. It's really, like detailed, plexi, glue, cutting all the tiny little plastic pieces, gluing them together, painting them with fine detail, that kind of thing, modeling. So if you're into the Gundam stuff, that's a place to check out. As we head up to the sixth floor, as you can see on the sign, it's the A zone. Now, for those of you who are familiar with American Girl dolls, um, this is Japan's version of American Girl. It's usually, for those who don't know, age groups like 12 to 15, I like to say for girls. Basically, they buy these dolls, and these dolls have names. There's like Chelsea, I think is one of the doll names. And Chelsea has a background story where she comes from, where she was born, and she has all her accessories you can buy for her, and all her furniture, and you can, get like little dress up stuff for her. And you basically, she's like your best friend as a doll. Same thing for Japan. Very detailed. It's cool to check this stuff out because they're really, really cool on the detail. Everything from the shoes you can buy, as you can see right here, the leggings and stockings you can buy in the doll, and obviously they're anime styled. The dresses, the clothes, the detail, the sewing. It's like a bigger Barbie, but you can buy like everything for it. You can buy furniture, really detailed purses. You can buy, you know, like everything. You can buy panties if you could buy the pantsuit. You could buy every little detail about that too. Japan is that because Japan. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Japan, but you can buy every little detail if you're into that kind of stuff. It's really cool to check it out for all the detail. I assume this is the part where everyone's going to make a joke that I do it for the panties. Okay, fine, I'll take it, whatever. It's cool. All right, as we go up to the sixth floor of this building, the sixth floor and the seventh floor really isn't anything too big. The seventh floor has some figures on it, and that says, as you can see in the sidewall here, seventh floor has some figures, but there's nothing. There's another store I want to recommend. Check it out. Like I said, but it's just figures and stuff. Sorry, I was on the sixth floor. Duh. I just completely repeated that. I apologize. Seventh floor is figures. And that's really it in this building. Check it out. This is one of the need to go to buildings. Yellow Submarine right at the corner. And here's where we entered from our train station. Before we continue, this is the maid cafe I went to, the maid Dreamin', and I actually have a little slip from it. It's on the second and third floor. There was a maid right outside here, and you can kind of see her. She's right there. Yay! I don't think it was that girl, but they bring you into the building. You go up a little elevator, and boom, you're there, and you walk into the maid cafe. This is the one I went to. This is pretty fun. Like I said, try it once. I don't recommend trying it again. Welcome to Akihabara. Logo's up there. Kind of cool. All right, so now we're going to head down right. This is the end of the strip, for those of you who are curious, that we're heading down here. I'm going to head all the way down to the actual end of the strip. Make sure my video is still working. Cool, it is. 17 minutes. All right, so we'll do this, probably end of the strip, and then we'll kind of cut to the next video. So what you want to notice at the end of the strip is a couple buildings here. The add-on building. Add-on building is an electronics store. I never really went in here, so I'm not too familiar with it. I think you can buy phones here because SoftBank and like SoftBank was. I think you could buy phones here. Like Domoco is one of the companies, or I think it's Domoco, is one of the phone companies you can buy with. Kind of like our Verizon version, Verizon or AT&T and things like that for America, for those kind of people. But I mean, it's different for every country you go to. But generally speaking, the add-on building, I didn't really go in here. It's just an electronics store. So I really don't really... But this is just the building that marks where the end of the strip is for me. There's another Sega building here. It has the, Gigo on the side there. Again, crane games, random stuff. It's just kind of a Sega building. Cool to check out again. Just like the other one, but it's a little bit different. But, same general consensus. First thing you want to notice here, I'll actually move down the strip. This tall building right here with the kind of, I like to call her the Indian green-haired girl, random hobby shop. I don't really need to say. I'll kind of go into the detail because I didn't really say much about it. Random hobby shop, just like the random electronics shop. Random hobby shop has a random assortment of stuff. Figures, DVDs, games, books, anime, visual novels, everything. But it's randomly assorted. You can find this stuff at the main stores I point out. For example, you can find figures at a figure store I'm going to point to later. You can find manga at the manga store I point out to later. You can find Softmap visual novels, which is the place to go for visual novels. When people lined up for Clover Days when it was released, they lined up outside the Softmaps into the street. When people get new releases of VNs, I was there on a release day, they line up outside of Softmaps. There's these random stores, and they eventually get them because they're usually like used copies. Some of them are new. They sort them by, company and things like that, so you can find them pretty easily. Everything from new kiges to actual visual novels to all sorts of types. Random hobby shop. Check it out. It's cool, but there's a lot of these. This Aki One building is a souvenir shop, and this is souvenirs like regular souvenirs you think of, like keychains, little flags, Japanese chopsticks, pens, little things, postcards. You can buy little things for your family, friends. Each floor is kind of different stuff in it, but it's a souvenir shop. Pretty easy for that kind of stuff. All right, and right at the corner here is our next kind of thing I'm going to explain about Japan. Got about 10 minutes here. That's good. This Big Apple slot in pachinko. Now, in Japan, it is illegal to gamble. And Japan gets around gambling by playing what is known as pachinko. For those of you who aren't familiar with what pachinko is, it's where you have a little tiny bunch of tiny balls. You drop it into the top of the machine in a little like slot, and one of many slots. And the balls drop down and hit little pegs, and it bounces around and goes all the way down to the bottom because of gravity. And when it reaches the bottom, there's little slots with point values in them. And the goal is to try to aim your pachinko balls so they land in these slots and give you points. And the more points you have, the more balls you get. That's how it works in pachinko, at least in these pachinko parlors. It's pretty much a random chance, luck lottery game, like any other lottery game. But you throw in your balls, and people are going to laugh at that sexual connotations. You throw in your balls, and you try to get points. The thing about Japan is here's how it works. They buy balls. They take these balls and they put them in the pachinko machine. They win more balls. They take those tiny little metal balls. They go up to the counter and they trade them in for a prize. The prize can be anything from a stuffed teddy bear to some food to, a little like toy or maybe possibly even an anime figure. Anything you could possibly think of. They don't keep these toys. What they do then is they go to a little back area in the shop where they sell the toy back or whatever they won for actual cash. So instead of just getting cash, gambling cash, and then trading it in for cash, whatever you like the value, chips or anything, they buy balls, they win more balls, they trade in those balls for a prize, they trade that prize back for money. It's the workaround way of how they actually gamble in Japan because they aren't allowed to physically gamble money. So this is how they get around it. There are a lot of people in these pachinko parlors. People from businesses, people all over just sit in these parlors and play pachinko all day. Just like, gamblers do. If you're into that kind of stuff, check out the pachinko. It's if you want to check it out. The building to the right here, I'm going to shift gears now. The building to the right here, this Pasella Resorts. The only thing I really want to point out about this is in the first floor, my friend bought some idol tickets here. I don't really know, like I said, anything about idols, but all I know is he walked into this building, talked to the guy at the main counter. I think it was supposed to be a hotel. Resorts, it was definitely a hotel, and he just bought idol tickets for like 50 yen, and he just bought these tickets and said there was a concert somewhere in Akihabara at 7 o'clock tonight, or in the evening. I was like, okay. I didn't really ask anything about it, but I know he bought some here. I don't know if it was in this building or if it was in a different building in Aki. I don't know. I'll explain one thing about idols though, is when you go to idol stuff, my friend was explaining this, you choose an idol from the group. There's many different girl singers, of the people that are the idols, and you choose one to represent you, and with the fans you kind of talk to them in a friendly manner and argue like your idol's the best, you worship them. So it'd be like, four girls would sing in, and then there's four groups, and the groups would be like, my idol's the best. And they'd be like, no, my idol's the best. What happens is all these girls come up to sing during the concert, and they get center stage where they sing a song. When it's your idol's turn to sing, you get to be center stage, up front, cheering on your idol and rooting them on. When it is another idol's person's turn to come up, you respectively move out of the way, and those people get to move front and center stage to watch their idol. That's all I know really about idol stuff. I'm going to stop there because like I said, I don't know too much about it. So don't go, if I'm wrong about that, that's all I heard. That's what I think happens. All right, and one final building here. Yeah, we got time. We'll go to before we get back on the main strip around this corner, and I'm kind of disappointed I found this building a little later. I found it early, but I didn't remember where it was. Azobit City, right here behind the corner next to the Sega building and this hobby shop. This is one of the buildings that is a need to check out building, so write that down on your sheet. The thing about this one is it is a random hobby shop. There's nothing too big about this hobby shop compared to other hobby shops, but it's a little bit different in the fact that this hobby shop doesn't have games and visual novels like you'd think. They have collector stuff. So you have mugs, you have t-shirts, you have messenger bags, you have, the soundtrack CDs of things if they're not found in, soft maps in other areas. A lot of different stuff here. And it's really cool because I like Azobit City because it's organized in a way, if you kind of look in here, that each area, these shelves, is labeled with a specific type of, like, genre or like anime slash visual novel. So for example, around this corner here is a Little Busters area, and on this shelf, everything you could possibly find for Little Busters is right here, and Little Busters Ecstasy. Coffee mugs, t-shirts, messenger bags, wall scrolls were kind of just mixed in here. The opening and ending of the anime we're playing, you can buy some of the DVDs, but obviously not nearly enough. You move over to another area, guess what you find? Haganai stuff. You have Haganai messenger bags, t-shirts, wall scrolls, everything you could possibly think of, towels, everything you can think of is there. As you go up the second floor, you can find, Attack on Titan stuff. You can find Sword Art Online stuff. Everything was possibly in this little building right here. As you go up a little more, there's also a Gundam model area again, and then there's train modeling. Now, train modeling, I think, was on the fourth floor of this building, I want to say, or the very top floor, I think fifth or sixth. Fourth floor, I'm going to say fourth floor. On the fourth floor, there was a train model, and I'll show you some pictures of that too. The train modeling is kind of like the Gundam modeling, but instead it's with the JR system from Japan. So there's these model trains you buy, you build a track just like you would any train model, and you get all the little tiny buildings, and you build the tracks, and you get the trains, and they run, and they're electronic, or you can just have them on display. If you're into that kind of stuff, check out this store. It has some train stuff in it. There's actually a better one that I'll explain at the end of the tour, which you'll see kind of near the end of the strip. That's another one I recommend checking out. So this is one you can check out, though, just for that hobby shop. With that, we're at about 26 minutes, so I'm going to stop this video here. We're going to continue to part 3. I'm just going to check the quality of this video, make sure everything turned out, everything was okay. So like I said, the main two things you want to remember is the Yellow Submarine building and the Azobit City hobby building are the two you need to check out that I recommend, are very important because you'll find what you're looking for. And then the other kind of buildings I just pointed out, just a little history, culture of Japan, and kind of what things were. Next part, we'll tour right down the strip and we'll begin our fun part. We're coming up to soft map, which is what most of the people here in FUA who are watching this video, or if any other person watches this video, are interested in. All right, so with that, I'll be back, guys, and we'll start part 3.